I did a video spotlighting somebody else's video, and basically the theme of the whole thing is you don't have to subject yourself to being around people that you don't like, that don't like you, that you don't like, that you don't want to have anything to do with, simply because you share blood. Blood doesn't make you family. Blood makes you related. Family is what you make of it. And I talked about my one aunt on my father's side. My father is one of three. My father, then there was my father's one and only brother, and my father's one and only sister. The two boys are dead. My uncle died in the 80s, and then my father died a handful of years back. My aunt, I believe, is still alive. And this guy says, my friend here says, all right, story time, Tommy. What happened with, I gotta fix the chair. What happened with your aunt? Many things happened with my aunt over the course of decades, but my grandparents lived in a small town in southern Indiana, Linton, Indiana, in Greene County. A few thousand people. They had a 33-acre farm there, and I grew up in the Chicagoland area, about a 4.5-hour drive away, and my aunt lived in southern Illinois, I think about a 5 or maybe 6-hour drive. I think maybe 5-hour drive away from them. And then my other uncle, the one who passed away in the 80s, lived right next to them and on the parcel of land next to them. My uncle died in the 80s, like I said, and my father spent years, decades, visiting my grandparents, driving down multiple times a year, and not only visiting with his parents, but doing things for them, working around. Whenever he would go down there, it would turn into a working weekend. Well, we need to paint the barn, or we need to whitewash the fence, or we need to do this, or we need to do that. It really was a way of my grandfather trying to stay busy and doing things with his son, but also taking advantage of a little bit of free labor. It happens. And my aunt never came around for years. Never came around. She was a bit of a wild child in her youth, and she just was never around. Both of her marriages fell apart, and she found herself back in Linton, Indiana. Just so happened to be when my grandparents were at the tail end of their life and needed more care than my father could provide them from 5 hours away. So she moved in with him. Now, my grandparents were always, in my opinion, they were always people that tried to be fair with everybody. And they had a will. Everybody was cut in equally on the will. My father, my aunt, and my uncle. And then my uncle passed, and they made sure that my uncle's wife, my other aunt, was cut in for his third, because they were trying to be equal. They were trying to be fair. This aunt moves in with them after not having anything to do with them for fucking years, and becomes their caregiver, right? Because now she needs a place to live, and now we're talking about an inheritance that might be coming up soon. And my grandfather passes, then my grandmother passes, and then it's time to read the will, and the will has been changed. My father gets nothing. My other aunt, who was married to my uncle for years, gets nothing. And the aunt that moved in with him got everything. The house, the money, all of it. So on top of being an absolutely stark, raving bitch her entire fucking existence, and I hope her fucking kids see this. I truly do. She has 3 fucking kids, and we haven't spoken to each other in fucking years, and there's a reason why. Because your mother's a fucking cunt. That's why. Well, Tom, that's got nothing to do with the kids. In this instance, it sort of does. She didn't have anything to do with her fucking parents for years. Then she moved in with them and got them to change their will so that she got everything. And now, she's alone. only has her kids. Her marriages have fallen apart. Most of the family, to the best of my knowledge, wants nothing to do with the woman, and rightfully so. And if you're watching it, auntie, go fuck yourself.